Hi. A few minutes ago, Rob was on stage, and somebody asked if he could live with any one of the cast members. Who would he choose? And he said Misha Collins.
Rob said he wants to move in with me?
Yeah, he said that. All these people are witnesses. He did say it.
What?
So,
oh my God. That's so amazing.
So my question is, kind of play off that. If you and Rob were to live together, kind of describe your life for us. Like, what would you dress up together for as Halloween? What would you get each other for Christmas?
Are you asking if we would coordinate all of our
Yeah,
holiday
I'm sure you
costumes
will,
and
because
stuff like
you
that?
guys
It's kind of a no-brainer, yeah. God, yeah, that would be amazing. We could save a bundle too of just economizing, we would have, instead of, because right now it's like, Rob and Molly, they have their own bed, and me and Vicky have our own bed. We could just consolidate and just have one bed. Think of the money we would save right there. And then me and Rob could share clothes, and Vicky and Molly could share clothes, and it'd be perfect. So many savings right there. And then my kids could babysit his kids. Obviously his kids are about 10 years older, but I think it would work out great. We would have so much more money, and then we could take that extra money that we saved, and we could spend it getting photo ops at these conventions of each other. I think it's a great idea. Sharing clothes we'd have to make compromises, I think. All of my would be like that, a little short, and all of his would be a little long. But whatever. We'd make those sacrifices. Thank you for asking that question. Who would you choose to live with?
You.
Good answer. But I have to tell you, it's a package deal. Rob comes in the deal. Okay.
Hi, I'm Gia. I have a question for Osric. So my question is, how long has it been since you met up with everybody on the cast, just to go back and visit with them, the main cast, with Cass and Dean and Sam?
You mean Misha, Jared Jetson, or do we, when we hang out in character?
Those are fun
We
days,
should
aren't
totally
they?
do that someday.
Let's just hang out in character.
When was the last? There's a lot of supernatural conventions, and usually we like to hang out in the green room, and usually we do a concert Saturday nights. Rob Benedict's has a band, Loud and Swain, and they do a concert, and so that's when everyone comes together, and sometimes Jetson and Jared will come back, and we'll just hang out in the back, and that's the only time we really hang out. We did the Tough Mudder last year with a couple of guys, and that was a lot of fun. It was kind of like a camping trip, except we'd run in the mud. We did it in Austin, Texas. It was great. But apart from that, these conventions has kind of brought us all together. It's awesome being able to hang out with Curtis and Erica here in Salt Lake City of all places. It's such a cool thing to experience. And that is largely due to the fact that, of you guys, there's such a passion for this show that you guys kind of bring us together. And honestly, a lot of people that I've worked with Curtis, but I've never worked with Erica, we're friends now than we never would have been if it weren't for you guys bringing us together.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, there's so many friendships that I've made, from the show, but never having worked with them on the show, which is kind of a weird thing if you think about it.
Hello, gorgeous ladies.
Hello, gorgeous. Hello.
My name's Ebony, and I'm from right here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, holla.
And my question is for all three of you, and it is, you all have become such great friends. What do you consider to be a defining moment of your friendship, the moment that really just kind of cemented it?
For me, I know that I become closer to people when I'm able to pursue through conflict. Like if I can find somebody that I can talk about things with because I love them enough that I want to continue through a perhaps wall that I think that we inevitably reach as adults who are set in our ways and our previous traumas from relationships. When I find people that I can talk to and communicate with effectively, I'm like, oh, those people are probably going to be in my life for a long time. And I feel like I've had that with both of these women, and that's why I feel so close to them. I feel very lucky.
For me, it was when Kim took me to the kitten sanctuary. I meant at the beginning, I need cats. Brianna, I'll tell you a really nice moment that happened recently. For you and me. You weren't there.
Okay. Sounds great so far.
I was being interviewed for the last episode, and they had just been up interviewing everyone for the Wayward spin-off, which I've been, like, I was bawling my eyes out the week that they were filming Wayward. And, the interview, this is my first cup of tea. And the interviewer asked me what I thought of the Wayward spin-off. And she said, well, I just spoke to Brianna last week and we asked which characters she'd like to see in the spin-off, and the first thing that flew out of her mouth was Rowena. I'd love to have Rowena in the spin-off. And it's like... And I've not told you that, have I? I've not seen you.
Well, I said that, so I knew that happened.
I know, but I didn't... But you didn't know I knew that.
No, I know that you know that, though. I know that you know I want you on that show.
That was like, oh, that was so nice. So, anyway.
I'm gonna be all anticlimactic now. Brianna and I had cookie dates on our very first episode, and that was it. It was kind of like, oh,
it's just so easy and instant.
Yeah, there you are. I think I've known you a few lifetimes. It's about time you fucking showed up in this one. was that attitude, and I loved Ruth, but I deeply fell in love with Ruth at Mark Shepard's wedding, when she had been placed at a table next to my daughter. And I was like, oh shit, this could go really wrong. And I have a picture now. Sarah, Mark's wife, had put on the backs of all of the kids' chairs little, like, games and toys to amuse them during the reception so they wouldn't be, I don't know, raiding the champagne fountain or blowing shit up. Maybe that's just my kid. I don't know. But I look over at one point and Ruth has plastic Groucho Marx glasses on.
It went with my outfit.
And she and Tabby are coloring, very sincerely discussing the debate between Captain America and Iron Man. And I just was like, oh.
See, actually, at the table it was free seating, and I sought Tabby out and wanted to sit beside Tabby, and Tabby kind of looked after me.
Well, I will tell you, you weren't wrong. It is never dull when you're around my daughter. It is never boring around Tabby.
When her fingers went near the wedding cake, but that's just...
Yep. The fingerprint on that's my kid. She also was dancing with Jared.
Oh, that's
she
the best
started
picture.
dancing.
The best picture.
She and Jared were out on that floor and like, listen, fuckers, the band's playing. Let's get going.
There's a picture right of Jared, and she's up in the air. Like, I think he's throwing her up in the air.
She'd never been that high in the world. My husband.
Nobody has.
My husband's my height, and she was just like, it's astonishing.
It's like every hat that Jared puts on is probably going, wow! I can see the whole world from here. Take me to the cashier immediately.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Great question.
Thank you.
Thanks, honey.
Hi.
Hi.
Again, sorry.
Again.
So my question is, oh, by the way, you guys are doing great with hosting. Like,
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
So I was wondering, what do you guys like most about each other? Like Matt, what's your favorite thing about Rob and Rich? And I figured I'd ask that because Rich isn't here to twist your words. So
that's good call. Well,
I mean, is this gonna get emotional? I mean, realistically, we just had this talk in the green room. For the sake of, I guess I'll try to make it funny somehow, but I literally looked at Rob and we were talking in the green room, and then I said, you know, at a point in this point in my career, I started acting late, you know, I was like 23 or 24 before I ever even thought about acting, and so like I look at him as well as Rich, but for the sake of this monologue, more Rob. That's the only funny part about Rob, I'm gonna keep it real. That what he's achieved in his life and how he is with as a husband and as a father and as a talented actor is why he's so important to me and why he means so much to me, because he has everything that I can only dream of achieving in this world, in this career. Like I want to be that good of a dad, I want to be that good of a husband, I want to be that good of a friend to my friends, I want to be that talented of an actor, you know, all these things. And we were literally just having this conversation. All BS aside, nobody was in the green room, I was telling him these exact things. So I think, I just like Rob because he's Rob. He's honest and he's real, and I have so much to learn from him. I don't mean to make it like a thing, but no, it just is. I feel lucky that at 30 years old, or when, you know, whenever I met you, 29 or 30, I feel so lucky to have found you, and Rich included, and have you guys as my mentors. I'm a better person because of it, just like I'm a better person because of you guys, because of coming to these things. You allowed me to be who I am, and these guys teach me to be better than I ever thought I could be. Now I'm sweating. That was like, this is like...
And I'll say to you what I said to you. I don't think you realize how much you mean to us. Matt is like the most earnest person I think I've ever met. Like he wears his heart on his sleeve. He chooses his words carefully and says what he means. He does not pretend to be somebody else. And I learned from that. Like I wish I was that when I was your age. And I go, well, it's not too late. I can incorporate that into who I am now. The fact that you and Mandy just had this beautiful baby, I think that's so courageous too, you know what I mean? You're young, and you're like, we want to put this positive energy into raising something. That is the most selfless thing that you can do, and so, you know, you're a terrific person, so.
Thank you, buddy. It's a little different when Rich isn't here, guys.
I know, we can actually say what we know. Rich be like, nah, right. Rich isn't comfortable with the
man motion.
Man motion.
He's not real comfortable with the true bromance. He's not. He's not. But we love him. That's why we love him, because Rich has the same thing. He like puts it together, the three of us. And when Rob and I start getting awkward and lovey on each other, Rich just comes right in. Nope, you know what, guys? It's a bad idea. Don't do that.
I love in the pictures when the three of us are in a picture and they want us to do something lovey with each other, with them. So there's so many pictures of me and you, like two women, and we're all holding each other, and Rich is on the side going, nah.
Rich has a weird thing, like today somebody said, we want you two to hug, and then we'll hug you guys. And you and I are like, yeah, hug it out. Like with Rich, Rich is like,
yeah. He's really awkward. He's super awkward about the hug.
But
it's really hard. Like,
yeah, or he'll like, he does that, like, I'm gonna hug you, but you're gonna know I'm a man. Your face is like, you know what I'm talking about?
When we sandwich a woman between us, he hugs so hard that I am pushing him away so that the poor woman is not squeezed to death, because he's overdoing it, so I'm pushing him away and smiling.
Like I've heard backs crack and straighten as if he was a chiropractor. He's like, bring it in here. Like, too tight, Rich, too tight. Where were we? Thank you for that question. I love Robbie, I love Richie, I love all these guys. I love you.
Love you guys.
It's a freaking love fest, man. It just is. This is a fortunate thing. Mark Shepard said it earlier. We're so lucky to be here and see this and be part of you guys, and you guys give back to us what we get to give to you, and it's just, this is the most fortunate fandom. We're a family, man. It's just freaking awesome. It's all there is for sure.
I was wondering, as far as for the many years you guys have been filming together, what was the most memorable moment for you that changed from a working friendship to a friendship to making it a family?
I don't know if I can beat the question. That's a good
question.
It's a great question.
I have this thing that I do, which I think I've shared with you this before, but I have this thing that I do, which is every year around New Year's, I write down my goals. And I think it's like goals for the year, things you want to do for the year. And the year that I got on Supernatural, I wrote down the goal. The goal that I had that year was I want to be a series regular on a show with a cast that becomes my lifelong friends. And I don't know why I picked that thing to say about being on a show, because it really isn't necessarily part of a career move. But I did, and I was actually just thinking about that earlier today. It's like, that's really strange, because I actually feel like you guys and this whole crew, I'm like, we're such a remarkably tight group of people. We love hanging out with each other. And it's been a gradual evolution to get to that point. Like, we all have grown to know and like and trust each other over time more and more. But I personally feel like we really have something very special in this cast, the extended cast. I mean, all the people that show up at these conventions are people whom I love. I love them. And that it wasn't fast, and it didn't happen at a moment. We hated each other for quite some time.
Yeah, there was a moment when you were like, wow, when I make those lists, I need to be much more specific. It's a series of events, I think, that leads to friendships. You can meet somebody and right away have an instant connection. Or you can meet somebody and be like, that was a cool person. Wouldn't mind hanging out with them again. And then that opportunity presents itself. And then now you've just furthered that relationship. And because relationships need to be nurtured. And when you have a show that has fortunately been on as long as it has, you're able to nurture relationships properly. And I think that when you have the right people nurturing those relationships, you get friendships. And that's what we've found. And not only with, a few people, with a lot of people. I know. I feel you. One of the moments that, because he's up here, one of the moments that jumps out to me that was like one of those moments that kind of furthers a relationship into a friendship was he and I were getting to know each other. We went out for dinner out at where are we, Gastown in Yaletown. And we sat down at this table, and it was this really kind of cool bar, and the waitress came up and she says, do you guys know what you want? And Misha takes my menu out of my hands, takes his menu, hands them to her, and goes, we'll take the 3 least ordered items on the menu. Now that would be fine if it was, a burger joint or a steakhouse or something to that degree. This was like a very kind of new age kind of a restaurant.
They had brains on the menu.
Yeah, you wonder why we know that. So we had that. We had sweetbreads, which is basically fried clams. And I'm like, man,
this friendship's gonna be a lot of work.
And I remember there was a piece of me that was like, I hate him right now. But I think I love him a little bit more too. Like that's just I think it's moments like that we've been able and very fortunately enough to have a lot of, and those really, they solidify friendships, and that's what we're very thankful to have.
Thank you.
Thank you.